This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started. Hello and welcome and happy Boxing Day! I don't know if this will air on Boxing Day, but that's when we're recording it. It is Superconnectivity, and I am your host, Charlie the Professor Esser, here in my Christmas PJs, along with the blue-eyed bomber from the Burg of Pitts.
Phil, me, and Perich.
Hey, welcome, Phil. So glad you're here. Yesterday was Christmas Day, Philip. We all had some nice time with our families. We opened gifts. I got a nice comfy bathrobe from Santa. It was very nice. And, we all just had a wonderful, wonderful day. But now it's back to business, back to the grind today work of podcasting about the popular media of the day. So Christmas Day was a big day for the media conglomerates as they are. We got Wonder Woman 1984 at noon for some reason.
I don't know if they wanted it, because West Coast it was 9 o'clock. So I don't know if there was some kind of thing they wanted it in the morning, or I don't know.
Well, it's weird on a lot of levels, and I'm going to get to that in a minute, because that's the thing. We're going to talk about 4 Christmas Day drops. There were probably a lot more Christmas Day drops, but these were the 4 that, got enough hype for being a Christmas Day drop. And, maybe not as much hype as they could have gotten, but they're also, you have, so the first one to drop was Pixar's Soul, which I watched expressly because it was the first one to drop, So I went to go watch Wonder Woman first. I said, oh, yeah, okay, Wonder Woman, we're going to watch that. So the 4 things we're going to discuss today are Wonder Woman 1984, Soul, Mandalorian behind the scenes, which is the season 2 behind the scenes. There's a season 1 behind the scenes, so I don't know if there's going to be more season 2 behind the scenes, but we got a Christmas Day drop of Mandalorian season 2 behind the scenes, which was very interesting. And then over on one of my favorite channels, one of the little favorite channels as well, Tubi, there was the film Henchmen, which Tristan and I watched. And actually the reason why that didn't get watched earlier, because Tristan was playing video games and I had to wait for him to want to watch the movie with me, because that was our father-son time. So getting back to it, let's start with Pixar's Soul, which I know Phil hasn't watched, but I do want to talk about it because this is as beautiful of a film as I think Pixar has ever made. As far as story, and I was not sold on it immediately until I watched it and saw what they were going to be expanding and exploring. And honestly, I cannot even describe what happened. Okay, so there's qualities of the film that if you're a fan of certain genres, you're going to pick up on immediately. But the basic premise is a guy, he's always wanted to be a jazz musician. He gets his big break. He actually has 2 things happen in the same day. First, he finally gets the offer to be a full-time music teacher at his local junior high. And then he also gets the opportunity to audition for a professional jazz quartet because they needed a new pianist. And so he gets both of these gigs the same day, and of course immediately falls on a manhole cover. Yeah, and I don't think that's a spoiler. If you watched it, well, the fact that it happened, that he gets the other gig, that's maybe a shock to you, but It happens early. I don't count that as a spoiler. If it happens early enough in the film, I don't think it's a spoiler.
I was gonna say I kind of glad that he dies. Yeah, early on.
Well, he doesn't exactly die, and it's kind of a Ghost Dad situation. If you ever saw Ghost Dad, that classic film of the 90s with Bill Cosby, this was just after Leonard Part 6, his tour de Triomphe, and this was his sort of victory lap afterwards, was Ghost Dad. Yeah, ever since The Devil and Max Devlin, it's been right downhill for Bill in movies, and then really in life too. But yeah, and which goes to show that it's a very different thing between being a popular stand-up comedian, TV actor, and movie actor who can carry his own film. And I think that's part of the problem there. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. So in the Ghost Dad situation, it is this fact that the guy's not dead, but his soul did get pulled out of his body. But actually, it seems like he was supposed to die that day, because there is an antagonist in it who is the accountant. It is. I don't want to spoil this for anyone because it is such a beautiful film. But the basic premise is he's supposed to go to the light. He winds up getting put into the pre-birth area of heaven. Well, not heaven, but the great beyond, where basically all of the souls before they're born, essentially he goes to the guff, and in the for those little bit of some Judaic lore for you, he's in the guff. He's with all the souls yet to be born, and that's where they sort of form themselves until they're ready to go to Earth. He meets one who is a soul that is literally an old soul, because they've been in the guff for years and they've never really wanted to be born. They've never wanted to move on. And it is him trying to figure out a way to get back to Earth, to get to his body so that he can do what he wants to do. And in order to do this, he has to convince this soul that life is worth living so that she can get an Earth path, so that she can give him the Earth pass so that he can go back. And it is, like I said, it has all the feels. It is beautiful. It has an immensely great cosmology with a very typical, of course we look silly to you. We're fifth dimensional beings. This is just how your minds can conceive of us.
Yeah.
It's really, honestly, I really recommend, again, you and Luca, you should sit down and watch Soul. It is a beautiful film. It really resonates. Now let us talk about the other option, the other thing that Disney Plus gave us, because Disney Plus gave us two, because it's Disney and they can do that. Actually, no, technically there are three, but we'll get to the third thing they gave us, which is just before that, which is the latest trailer for WandaVision. It's heating up, man. They're getting ready. Oh, you want to give me? Okay. If you want to be on camera, you have to hug me on camera. Otherwise, okay. My son wants to hug my arm. Okay.
If you want credited for the hug, if it's not on camera, it never happened.
Yes. Well, it's just he's a huggy one. Yes. He's not actually going to be on our. Wait, how many episodes do you have of Mandalorian so far?
I think we have 6. So
okay, yeah. So this is the last 2, yeah. And Tristan he was really just on the first 2. He wasn't on the last 4, but he won't be on these 2 either. So well, because I had to record him while you were at Lola's, so she'll schedule it around my podcast. If I say that you can't go because you have a podcast, it's going to be quite bothersome to her. Anyway, moving right along. So, The Mandalorian season 2, and behind the scenes, because we've already talked about that. We're going to talk about that on Full Stream Ahead. See my flawless transition, Phil. This is why I'm the best at what I do. We get to see. Honestly, this was, I saw the first one, but honestly, the amount of love that I think there is in season 2 is incredible.
And I don't know if it's like more concentrated too, because I think I didn't watch season 1, but I think they did like an episode for each episode of season 1. This one was just like 1 hour thing. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if there's going to be more of these or if it's just the one, but it was perfect and it was beautiful. And I loved. There is a great meme that kind of was made real by this. There's this meme of it says actual footage of Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau working on Mandalorian season 2, and it's just these two kids, and they're like go rah with their Star Wars toys, and then you watch it, and they're like, yeah, then we built the model, and it's just like rah. So it is actually quite a beautiful love letter to what they did, and shows you again how much everyone in this world, in the Disney and the Lucasfilm world, are always thinking ahead.
Well, yeah, and it's just like, these days you can always just do CGI, computer stuff. I mean, they're like, oh yeah, we built a scale model of the ship, and then we scanned it into the computer to use it.
Oh yeah, well, exactly, because that's how because you have to think, and this is one of the things. Well, we have to think about, well, okay, so how does that fit together, and what does that look like inside?
Mm-hmm.
And it's easier if you have a tactile object that you're building, and then once you have that tactile object, then you can play with shadows, you can do natural lighting.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things they were talking about was how one of the big advances that they've been doing in lightsaber technology is now they're basically playing with light up fluorescent tubes. So, but it puts the light in the scene. And that's what's different, is that now we can actually have the scene lit by it in the way it should be. And I guess prior to this, you never really saw them get too close with the lightsabers, because you would have to add in the light of the lightsaber, because before they just had big wooden sticks.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know when it started, but I know like that original trilogy. Yeah, they just, I think the blade was completely put in afterward. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember watching like an early stuff, like behind the scenes footage from Return of the Jedi, back before it came, or like just after it came out, before, and you see Luke there, and he's got this like big wooden sword, and and it's cute and it's neat and it is what it is, but it's just such an advance. Although it does look so cheesy and cheap, as it always is when you see the behind the scenes, where it does look like my son's plastic lightsabers. Like and I think that's probably true of so much. I mean, I think when you actually see an actual original phaser from Star Wars, it is or Star Trek. It is like because you'll see those at the cons from time to time, and it really does look, wow, that is so much cheaper than what I could buy at the store. Cheaper looking than what I could buy at the store.
Oh yeah, I guess it's just like we need something in your hand. We'll clean it up, make it look nice. In post. That it's just
Yeah, or even you just never realize it. And then what it is that when someone actually wants to hold a phaser that is a phaser, you're gonna have to actually design something that looks neat and isn't just a dustbuster, as they did in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Which I just, I don't know. I think that for a shooting weapon, again, very bad. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what you say, Maz. Very bad weapon design in Next Generation. The Batleth is not a good weapon the way they use it. The phasers, the little dustbuster phasers, they're not. It's not an intuitive design. The original design was very intuitive. Now, even when they went to the remote control design, it was still somewhat intuitive.
Yeah.
But it's like the dustbuster, because it's like, okay, well, we had phasers that were like this big that you did, and then we had big phasers that you held like a proper weapon.
The phaser rifle, yeah.
Yeah, and now we're just gonna go with Dustbusters. Tristan.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Just take care of it. Just move that off. Move that off.
I didn't know that.
Okay, yeah. Just why don't you get off of there for right now? Okay.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. Just let it be. I'll untangle it later. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. So it was great. We've got Sackhoff. I'm blanking on her first name.
Katie Sackhoff.
Katie Sackhoff. Previously from Battlestar Galactica and the fantasies of Howard Wolowitz. Yes, I think she had been on that show a couple times. I think she was in the fantasies, and then they actually had her as Katie Sackhoff in an episode once, where she was on the same train with them. Maybe that was some other actress, but anyway.
No, I think that was what's her face? Oh no, it was somebody else. They did a bunch of those because remember the last episode they even had Sarah Michelle Gellar on the plane with them.
Yeah, and but yeah, I always like the Katie Sackhoff dream sequences because of course then George Takei is in Howard's dreams too.
I know. He's like telling him how to like romance a woman and shit. And Katie Sackhoff's like, "How would you know?" He's like, "I read."
Yes. Big Bang Theory. I don't care what anyone says. It is funny.
Mm-hmm.
As a nerdy, pathetic guy, I will say yes. That is very true to life.
Hey, a lot of people agreed. What was it? 12 seasons?
Yeah, it did well. Anyway, Rosario Dawson.
Oh yeah,
is great in this, and and they really do address this idea about the difficulties of bringing a cartoon character to life.
Oh yeah,
and I don't know if they ever really address it well because I think it's still controversial about what exactly that thing on Ashoka's head is. Is that her head? Is it a hat? We don't know. But
it's kind of like the same thing of our superhero movies. It's like, some costumes and some things look better on the page, but trying to like translate them to the real world.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff on the internet recently about when Black Canary gives Red Tornado his new costume. And I know David Cronin was asking, actually, if someone had asked David Cronin, because that's when Red Tornado gets the arrow on his head. And it says, so is that a decal? Is it like a mask that he's now wearing over his head? I think it's always a little difficult to translate, but I think they did a good job. Oh, and man, just all of the monster works and just all of the practical effects that they just really like. That's the thing. This series was revolutionary for, first off, it did the view screen walls.
Oh yeah,
as a new idea, and that it actually worked and it looked good is quite amazing.
Yeah, and like the stunt guy for the Mandalorian, like him saying, Giancarlo Esposito, man, he said he brought the rage. He's like, when we're fighting at the last episode, like, man, he brought the rage, man.
I mean,
take weapons.
Yes. He's a good actor. He's not a sword fighter, but he's a good actor.
Oh yeah,
and he can play a sword fighter.
Well, they even said in that thing, I forget who said it. They're like, yeah, his character, it's like, he might, he's more of a bureaucrat than a warrior, but he has that rage inside him.
Yeah, honestly, I hope we haven't seen the last of Giancarlo Esposito.
No, hey, spoilers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, actually, I don't say what happens. I'm saying what I hope we haven't seen the last of him. That is very open ended. But yeah, I think just like in the episode we will be talking about on Full Stream Ahead today, later on this afternoon, me and Maz will be talking about the episode with Mayfield. So that's going to be interesting. So, anyway, moving right along. It was fun. It's a great nerdy dive. If you've ever wondered what those, I thought it was just really cool that the tentacles really just swung around when people were walking. John Leguizamo as the mob boss was good.
Yeah.
And they do mention the whole shooting out the light scene, which is but again, the kind of character that, okay, but maybe we will see him again. Maybe he gets out of that and he's just angry.
Yeah. And I forget if we talked about it or if I even knew about it and I forgot about it, but Carl Weathers directing his own episode.
Oh yeah. Well, Carl Weathers is just, he is just a national treasure.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
One of the guys from Predator who never got to be a governor, but now he runs a whole planet. So you know what? He's governor of that planet. So there we go.
Seriously.
He's a governor too. It's great, and of course, the guy was, as he says, I'm aware of the physicality. I know what it's like to be on the other side of this conversation about the physicality of acting, and it's just good all around. And I do highly recommend, if you like The Mandalorian, you'll like the hey, here's how we made this.
Oh yeah.
You'll like the documentary. Okay, and that brings us to the elephant in the room, dropping at 12 noon Eastern time for reasons. Wonder Woman 1984. Now, we're not going to spoil it because we're doing a big episode on this.
Yes, Capes and Lunatics 190. Stay tuned for it.
For the new year.
Yep.
Where we bury it out of the box, and we're going to start recording that.
So speaking of the time, so Soul and like the rest of those all dropped at like midnight. I mean, like you whenever you went through it, it was there, even if it was there. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know exactly when Henchman dropped, but it's Tubi. I'm sure it dropped at midnight,
Yeah.
Or midnight somewhere. That's the thing. It's like, I can get the idea of something dropping at midnight. So, okay. It dropped midnight Hong Kong time. So maybe that's what it was, because that would have been the first time. Except I think that they're actually the day behind us, not a day ahead of us. I don't know. I forget how it works when you do that whole thing.
Yeah, I think they're ahead of us. Yeah, because I know Australia's ahead of us. So yeah, so they're probably ahead of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then it was actually late for them too. I don't know, but it seems weird. Or ahead of us. Okay. Well, so if it's. Yeah, I don't know, but either way.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, before we get into the details, I mean, Wonder Woman 84 on HBO Max. I mean, outside the U.S., I don't think people were able to stream it like the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, but maybe they wanted to have it so that it was matching up with when in the East it would be available. The Far East.
Oh. Okay.
In theaters, so maybe that's their explanation.
I think it was in theaters, but you just couldn't stream it at home.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't know. But anyway, it was a bit frustrating, but we got over it. I will admit I have to do a rewatch of the dang thing because.
Oh yeah, I'll probably rewatch it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is a long film. It is 2.5 hours long.
Oh yeah, it's like, what is it, like 2:35? This is a little less than 2.5. Yeah, and that was I think my main problem. I didn't think it had to be that long. They could have trimmed a little bit, especially at the beginning.
Well, and this is what I'm saying. I think that because someone said, okay, we're going to do a digital release of it.
Maybe.
And they said, you know what, since we're going to do a digital release with it anyway, we don't have to edit it for theater time. We can edit it for press pause, go to the bathroom, come back, and restart the film time. And I think that makes a statement about how things might change in the film universe.
And maybe they were worried about another Snyder cut debacle, so they're like, "Oh, we're going to stream this. Okay, whatever you got, just throw it in."
Yeah. And here's what I'm going to say. I really only have one complaint, maybe two. One is a basic mechanics of magic, which, I'm not going to go too deep into, but to put it to you simply, they didn't have time to get 5 rocks, so they just have 1. And exactly how that magic works is something that happens here because it seems to be a retroactive continuity. where something happens and it seems like, and this was always going to happen. But then it says, or did it just spring into existence because of this? Basically, are they rewriting reality, or are they, which we'll get to when we get to the Department of Truth, one of the best books out there right now that you are not reading, unless you are, in which case, good for you. It's not clear exactly how that magic works. And again, to talk about what is early in the time frame is a person, when they're examining the rock, someone says, I wish I had a cup of coffee, and then a cup of coffee shows up.
Again, like I said, I didn't know if that was a coincidence, but now that I think about it, maybe it's just bad editing.
No, I actually think that was intentional, because I actually think because the extra coffee shows up because someone got sick. I think that's supposed to be your first clue that there's a cost. There's always a cost. Blah, 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 blah.
And what are the roles of this stupid stone? It seems like it only gives you one wish, but later on, it's like people are getting offered. Cheetah's getting offered more than one wish. It's like,
yeah, well, clearly everyone gets. Okay. So
is it just a stone only wants the grant one?
Can I do one spoiler?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so spoiler. I was very mad there wasn't a scene at the end where Cheetah doesn't say, I do not renounce my wish.
I mean, she must have, but technically we never hear her say it, I don't believe.
Yeah, but we see that she's all
back to normal, yeah.
Yeah, back to frumpy, Has to wear her glasses, Barbara.
At least human, yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. Well, they were doing what they were doing with her. Yeah, I realized she's naked. Like her butt's just everywhere. It's like that
forms, yeah.
Yeah, this is why I don't like that version. I liked it better when it was a costume. Give her powers if you want, but just don't have her just shoving her butt on everything. Because it's as any good nudist will tell you, even though you're a nudist, bring a towel for when you sit down.
Apex Predator don't care.
Apex Predator. And is a cheetah really an apex predator?
I don't know.
I mean, really? Here's the thing. If you really want to be like the monkey's paw kind of a situation, it's like, be careful what you wish for. It's like, oh, you're an apex predator, so you're now a normal human being. Wah! Because we are the apex predator,
I mean, I guess someone could,
Yeah.
I mean, they had to make it work with Cheetah, but it's like, would you really wish to be, say, you want to be an apex predator or an animal? Wouldn't you just be like, you make me stronger, make me invincible, make me faster, something?
Well, it's and again, like I said, like what is the I think it would have been funny if she became a great white shark, and then she just becomes king shark and has to swim everywhere she goes. Because again, apex predator. And I get the idea, and maybe what it was her wish was an ongoing wish, maybe.
Well, and the big theme was all these wishes had a price.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and the price was the loss of her humanity, which maybe is why, because that was the thing. It was always moving her towards that. So,
and your butt will always be out,
and your butt will be everywhere because, I guess. I just think about, a cat walking up and just putting their butt in your face. And to me, that's just Cheetah. That's just, have you seen my anus?
Oh.
Release the butthole cut. That's what I want. There is going to be that. I know. Yeah, but so aside from that, I liked it. I did get the cameo. And I knew that the second I saw that, I said, I know that eyebrow.
eyebrows.
Yes, but I knew who that was immediately. I said, I think that's what?
I hope you do. You watched that person.
Yeah. I know, and although I'm going to say this, I think that the basically, I'm going to say this. I think that the barf transformation that they did for Robert Downey Jr. and I think that the stuff they have at Marvel is not getting transferred over to other companies. I don't think it was quite as good when it recently happened on The Mandalorian. I do not think it was good here, and it was weird to me because I don't know why you would have to do that with that actor, because they actually look really good still. I don't think you need to do a youth-ification ray on them, because I actually think that they look just fine, Because
an eternal Amazon, yeah.
But what they did, I think that they did it in a way that I don't think it worked as well in that way. It was great to see that actor back. I was hoping for some other stuff. We know they go to that Middle Eastern country, Boel. I was hoping to get a Black Adam cameo at the end. So like, this is how he's awakened or something, But no. Okay, so yeah, that was very spoilery.
I mean, just the way Lil talks, I don't know if we're getting another Wonder Woman movie. So, I mean, maybe they were planning for more with that cameo for the next movie. But
yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing: at DC, who knows?
Exactly.
Who knows? It's the last one, or these are people. They're flying blind without a net.
Oh yeah, I think I saw an article yesterday. I think DC and Warner's are planning more layoffs for the new year.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's not going good over there, I don't think.
Well, I mean, somehow it's as I always say, it's not that the Zack Snyder films don't make money. It's not that they're even not good films.
Yeah.
But there is that scene when in Entourage. If you love handsome guy wish fulfillment stories,
yeah, those guys never get nothing.
No, they never get nothing. But there's that scene where where we get the first Aquaman with Mr. Chase, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well Spider-Man did this. Should we expect Aquaman to do that?" and Ari Gold, I believe his name is, he says, "Manage your client's expectations. He's Aquaman. He's not Spider-Man." But that's the thing. It's like Superman is Spider-Man. Wonder Woman, Batman, these are Spider-Man level characters. Yeah. And Disney and Warner's has 3 of them. And every single one of them should be opening to Spider-Man level dollars every single time.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't, That's the thing, is they don't, And really, it's just kind of, it's disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, it should be simple, because it's like, show me someone on this planet who doesn't know Superman, Batman, or Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and then and as has been pointed out, that this is the first Wonder Woman movie in freaking 100 years that she's been around. Well, maybe slightly less than that, but yeah, Wonder Woman has been, and this is like the first time they're making a Wonder Woman film.
Well,
and that is, well, no, they made a TV show.
The movie. I mean, there was a couple years ago. There was the first Wonder Woman movie.
Oh yeah, well, I know. Okay, so that's what I meant. This iteration of the character.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and it did well. It did very well. That first one really lived up to expectations. I think this one lives up to expectations too.
Yeah, like I said, any problem I have is small. Just like I think they could have trimmed it a little more and point quicker. Yeah.
I mean, again, we're being a little spoilery, and we don't want to get too bad because we are going to be reviewing this film later. But it's, I kind of feel like someone said, we always have the lasers shoot up. What if we had them shoot down? And that was their big that was their big shift to the classic DC paradigm. When we had the laser shoot down instead of up. Ha ha! Didn't see that coming, did ya? But yeah, overall I enjoyed it. It had that very sweet. Pedro Pascal is great. One thing we can say is Pedro Pascal is great. I think they did a really neat reimagining of the Max Lord character.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Black Gold Company, which I just part of me, I just kept on thinking blue and gold.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they said Black Gold, I was like, oh, give me my Blue Beetle. Give me my Booster Gold. Give me something to remind me of the classic Max Lord DC International or Justice League International group. But yeah, it was cool. It was very enjoyable on a lot of levels. And then this is the other film that me and Tristan watched. And yeah, we'll talk a lot more about Wonder Woman and all of our disappointments and the joys from it. What day are we recording that, Phil?
What, Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
Next Saturday.
Next Saturday, and then probably drop sometime after that. So please tune in. But yeah, the last thing I watched was Henchmen on Tubi. Now, it's your standard, mid-quality CGI film.
Mm-hmm.
Toy Story level quality, CGI, but not like not like Pixar level, but definitely not like Kung Fu Panda, but they're CGI characters and they work and they're not horrible. They're not painful to watch. They're not scary looking, and that's okay. And the idea is that you have these, you have a superhero filled world that is, very similar to what you might see in the Venture Brothers, where, it's clear that there is some kind of I always say this is sort of like a cross between Megamind and the Venture Brothers, and done a little less expensively, but they paid for good voice actors. So it's got a really great voice acting cast. And you think the story is going to do one thing, and they actually really subvert that nicely. Because it's kind of interesting exactly who the protagonist is, but the actual character arc does seem to be shared by our two leads, who are the orphan. That is the character that he wishes to become. He's the young boy who grew up idolizing supervillains. And it's weird, in their universe, the supervillains have the comics, not the heroes. Because there's a scene at the start where he's like talking about, he's got all his comic books there. Of course, all the other kids call him comic book nerd. So clearly that's his pain. But there is this idea that, he's just talking about how he loves these supervillains, but they always lose. Why can the supervillain never win? And that's his big thing. And I guess he feels he's very much, as the orphan, he is very much, this person who feels put upon. He has a classic supervillain origin story, the fools, I'll show them all. But in general, it was sweet. It has just enough gross out humor for the kids to like it, without being without relying on that as its only shtick. In fact, I will say this: all of the gross out humor pretty much happens in the first scene. Well, not the first scenes, but the first couple, like the first 20 minutes of the film. There's a big scene where they do all the gross out humor and fat shaming of the Gluttonator, who is a second tier villain whose main plan is just to cover the world with cheese, radioactive cheese. And there's never really an explanation about how that was going to work out for anyone, It's like, I want everything covered in cheese. Ha ha! My master plan. And it's like,
Yep.
It's like, step 1, get radioactive cheese. Step 2, cover the world with radioactive cheese. Step 3, Don't worry about step 3. Step 4, profit. It's very strange, but that's their gig. That's their shtick, and it's funny, and that leads to the rest of the story, which is about the henchmen third class, who are the support tier. So these are the cooks, these are the maintenance workers, these are the people that fix and build the machines. That's the third class of henchmen, and also the people that get everything to run. And like I said, I highly recommend anyone who has the time and the inclination to go watch it. It's on Tubi. It's free. Has commercials, but you can live with the commercials. So anyway, let's talk comics.
Yes.
Okay. Oh man, I got a lot this week. Yeah. Okay. Hey, guess what? Justice League Dark is not done. They implied it was done last issue, and then this issue they say no. Here it is back.
Well, they didn't. Yeah, that's an Endless Winter tie-in, right?
That's an Endless Winter tie-in, but it's still 29.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not like it's Endless Winter Justice League Dark crossover number 1. It's Justice League Dark number 29.
Yeah.
And part 7 of Endless Winter.
But then, I believe in the new year they said it's not going to have its own book. It's going to be a backup in the regular Justice League book, which will be written by Brian Michael Bendis.
Okay. Well, will he be writing that part of it, or is there?
I'm not sure. I don't know if they said. I hope not.
Yeah, well, I'll take a look at it. I don't know. Maybe I'll see the first issue when it comes out, and we'll make our decisions then. But it was, it's decent. I'm not really reading the Justice League Dark story. We get our first Justice League with Black Adam, Swamp Thing, and Hippolyta. Yay. And Viking Prince, who is cool. Basically it gives how he sacrificed himself to defeat the Snow King. And there's a new young adult book, House of L, coming from DC, because that's where they're putting their money now. And basically yada yada yada. They need a new Swamp Thing because it's as you will recall, it was the Swamp Thing the original Swamp Thing who founded the original Justice League. They resurrect the spirit of Viking Prince, and then they bond him to a bit of the green they brought back from the other place, and now he's the new Guardian of the Green, the barbarian green guy. So there we go. And Jenny Hex is coming soon. So there is stuff at DC to read, apparently. So okay, why don't you give me a book, Phil?
Well, I was gonna say, if you want to know how the whole Endless Winter thing ends, yeah, Justice League Endless Winter number 2 special. The conclusion was also out this week. Yeah, basically they get that Frost King or whatever to power down, and they put him into suspended animation until they can find a way to bring his family back. So they're all frozen too. So.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
So they've been frozen for 5,000 years. And they weren't magic at all, but yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Get me Dr. Freeze on the phone.
I think a lot of this was it's a lead into what's coming in Justice League. So I guess with the Bendis Justice League, I don't know if Black Adam and Hippolyta, Wonder Woman's mother, are going to be in it because something's going on with Wonder Woman. Because in the new year, I think they said something in her book she's going to be in Valhalla or something.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
it's good to visit. Oh man. Dr. Doom, number 10. I think this is the last one of Doom. Doom is the worst. Doom is just the absolute worst. Every universe, especially this one, especially 616, it is so yeah. Basically, at the end of the last episode, he falls into the black hole. He meets his doppelganger from the good universe, and basically, good Dr. Doom, whole time just needling him. He says, yes, well, of course, you're wrong. He says, you were wrong, but that's okay. You just have to admit it. You can move beyond who you were. You just have to admit you were wrong. You have to make peace with Richard. You have to do this. You have to not be just the worst person in all realities. And you see here, like he takes him to the place where that that dude. And he's like, but you're the ruler of everyone. It's like, I'm one of the council of people who rule the planet. We're the smartest people alive, and we do what we can. Basically, it's an open air Illuminati. It's like all the geniuses got together. They said we can fix everything, but let's all work together to do it. And they take all of this stuff. You got the Darkhold there. You got the Gem of Cytrak, which I do not think of as one of the big power gems. I mean, yes, it gives you that super juggernaut power, but still, it's like, okay, you're a big, strong guy. We got like 6 of those. But and again, even the Mandarin's rings, it's like, really? I mean, yeah, it's a lot of superpowers for one person to have, but at the same time, I don't know if, I would say you would give them to someone who, like, give Captain America Mandarin's rings, and now suddenly he's even more cool, But anyway, it's just, and of course, what he does is he grabs the ultimate nullifier, and he nullifies an entire universe because he could not deal with the fact that he is just the worst person. And that is like literally not even just like, oh, I nullified that planet, or I nullified the entire freaking universe. Blue Marvel's back, by the way, so he didn't get stuck there. He saved Blue Marvel for reasons. I don't know. And exactly how he did that isn't clear either. But honestly, he's just the worst. He also throwed shade at Dr. Otto Octavius. Which just, as soon as he did that, you knew is like, oh yeah, you cannot stand that he's actually probably a better supervillain than you on every level. Anyway, so that was Dr. Doom. You got anything you want to talk about?
Maestro.
Oh, Maestro, yes. Yeah, and you know what I liked about this?
Huh.
We get the fact that, Hercules is like, murdering me. Hercules is never more dangerous than when he is dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you see Maestro, he's got his little funeral procession for his fallen comrade here. And it is neat and funny and delightful in its own way, especially when people say, hey, maybe we should have a democracy instead. Maybe you shouldn't be in charge. And it's like, really, people? What are we doing here? And then, of course, we do get he unleashes his war dogs on them, as you do, and then big laser bolt, because it's the gun that Forge designed to kill the Hulk. Some of Rick's crew has it, and then
Hades brings back Hercules.
Yeah, Hercules says, yeah, he said I could come back and get my vengeance, so let's have it, which is great. And he really just, again, totally beats the heck out of the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Really, the only reason the Hulk doesn't lose this fight is because he gets shot by the anti-Hulk gun, which the magistrate, who never really liked Hercules anyway. So basically, the entire reason the Hulk gets to be the Maestro is because the local bureaucrat just said, you know what? F this guy. And we get, when he goes down to Rick's secret bunker, everything's been moved. And then we get the backup story. Basically, this is him yelling at Banner about how he is Brian Banner now. And, we get a neat little, and he gets mad because it blows up, but
Mm-hmm.
he survives, as you do. That's when he becomes the Maestro, which is the end of the Maestro for now, because it's just the beginning. We're actually getting a new Maestro on, I want to say,
Is it January? Yeah.
Yeah, January 20th, my birthday. We get the new Maestro stories.
Yeah, Maestro War and Pax, isn't it?
Yeah, war in packs, which is, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but okay. But we also see where we're cleaning everything out.
Yeah.
No image of Rick's daughter picking up Mjolnir, though, which is that's just the funniest thing. I don't know. It feels light to me. And, and he's being visited by all the ghosts of his friends and comrades and his beloved wife. And,
Visited by the ghosts of all his friends we still have rights to, because you don't see any Rom in there.
oh, did he hang out with Rom?
I didn't read a lot of Rom, but I think he was in the Rom book for a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I know at one point they mentioned, he was like friends with Rom. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's always
it's funny, just because I didn't really read the Rom books, every time I hear the name Rom, I think of Quark's cousin.
Wow.
Quark's brother. Okay. So I want to do it this way because this is kind of my tie-in. So I want to do Department of Truth.
Okay.
Which is, this is such a good book. Everyone, you should be reading it. Basic plot line. We find out that basically what's happening is that the Black Hats, and it's the framing device is, of course, the Department of Truth. They're monitoring this, reporter, or actually an editor for what I believe is supposed to be the Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos, which they kind of subtly reference. And there is this whole thing about, it's not just that one conspiracy becomes true. Whoever these Black Hat people are, they're trying to make all conspiracies true. And the reason why they want to make all conspiracies true is because they want people to know about the Department of Truth. So they're trying to reveal the truth of the Department of Truth, maintaining history. And the problem is that, and this is what this reporter figures out, that all the pieces that this guy is sending me, it fits too closely together. It's all ridiculous. But there has to be a truth behind this. Why is this person telling me this truth, telling me this story? And basically our protagonist has to make the decision, is he going to kill them and prove his worth to the director? Or is he going to not make that choice? I'll leave it to you, readers, to find out what he decided. But Department of Truth, number 3, I think this is. No, number 4, issue 4. Department of Truth, issue 4, really good. And that goes to a book I know we both read, John Walker.
Yep.
Where we also get a lot of this, what really happened and who are we really talking about in this?
Yeah, I was like, is this going to kind of be like that first miniseries we covered where, it's like, someone claimed to be his brother. Now is this going to be really his sister? Because, she claims it's his sister, but, it's like, you forgot about me. I've been in witness protection for years. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really interesting story. I really like where they're going with it. I really like the kind of story they're telling with it, and yeah, I'm down for John Walker.
Oh yeah,
I really am. He is very good.
So you think about what they did with his brother Mike? Is it just because of the sliding time thing? Because remember, it's like, his brother died in Vietnam, so it's like, we can't do that now. So we're gonna make it.
No, they moved everyone up. Everyone who died in Vietnam, they created a new country for everyone to die in. So like now, Tony didn't even go to Vietnam, and I forget the name of the country now. But
but now they're saying he didn't even die, and
Oh, it wasn't even in a war.
No, because it was like, oh no, you just couldn't, because he accidentally burned their house down and then killed himself. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. We also get the reveal of a different U.S. agent, a black guy. Oh no!
And he's with his sister. Well, it's the one claiming his sister, if it really is. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, they're going to be mad. The internet's John Walker was their guy.
Uh-huh.
And now he has to be replaced by a black guy? Oh, no.
Well, those people in that town thought he was Captain America. They're going to be like, oh, they're replacing Captain America, the black guy.
Yeah, it's just...
Get it? Get it? Falcon Winter Soldier's coming. Get it?
Yeah, I get it. I see what they did there. It's a good book. It's well worth the read, I think. Another book that was worth the read, I think. Here's what I'm gonna say. I did read the Amazing Spider-Man out this week.
Yes.
All this reference to the lies being told and things like that, I'm still not convinced we're not going to get a last minute what was it, Francis Clum reveal, man.
Oh yeah.
Even when Sin Eater sort of shoots his own head in it, says, "No, now I see," and all the lies. How could it all be lies?
Well, my whole thing is like, I get why Norman Osborn's involved because supposedly this is Harry, but what's Fisk doing? Besides destroy Spider-Man, what's Fisk's angle?
Well, and again, I think if we go with my Francis Clum theory,
although I'll lend credence to your theory. Because remember in the whole Kevin Smith Daredevil thing, the whole thing with Mysterio, who paid Mysterio? Fisk.
Yeah, well, there you go. I think I get the feeling that someone is manipulating a lot of people in this. Because, and again, this is something when I was looking at it, it's like, there is nothing that's happening in this storyline that we have not seen done technologically.
Yeah.
In Spider-Man books, for example, this whole I have this person's powers now. That is the Absorbican from when Everyman came back and he stole Reed Richards' super intelligence for an issue. And it's like, oh yeah. And it struck me, they have lots of people who just steal people's powers randomly in the DC, in the Marvel universe. That's actually like a whole subset of supervillains. And they're all tech-based too. So it's like someone could give him, here is a sin-eating gun, and it's going to give them that massive dose of, some mood stabilizers, and it's also going to transfer their superpowers to you. And that would also explain why Norman's now evil again, because those mood stabilizers eventually wear off.
Or whoever's in charge of it can turn it on and off or whatever. Yeah,
it's a very interesting thing, and I'm really interested to see what happens with this, because I do get the idea that there is so much more going on here than we're being led to believe. And I think it's not going to be this is my thing. I don't think it's going to be a mystical. They may think it is. So Harry Osborn may think, I was in heck. I was brought back to life. Look at these crazy centipede things I can conjure that for some reason look exactly like Dr. Octopus arms.
Oh, well, I could see Norman having him strapped in a VR chamber for the last couple of years. Yeah,
who knows, man? And the entire opening scene, was that like from an old comic book, or what is when Harry has that is from an old comic?
That's from Spectacular Spider-Man 200. That's from the I think that's the actual the issue where he actually dies. Yeah.
When he's like, I would never hurt you.
Yeah,
we were good friends. And also it's like,
I'm going to kill your husband, but I would never hurt you.
And within that entire concept, it's also just like, okay, so you're taking me to the place where you killed my husband's last girlfriend that you say you love, or where your father killed him, or who you believe he killed, whatever. But also it just, me and Pete would never be together if she hadn't died. So maybe again, who knows how long Clum has been doing this? That's all I'm saying.
Although, I mean, in Harry's defense there, I mean, that was the whole thing. Is like he went insane when he wanted to be the Green Goblin. He injected the Goblin formula, and that's, he went nuts. So.
Yeah, I don't think that's supposed to be an injectable, though.
I don't think he even injected it either. I think it was like a nutrient bath, or
Oh yeah, nutrient baths. Those are the worst.
Yeah.
Just ask the Hulk.
And it was the 90s, but
yeah. Oh man.
I just wonder if Fisk got his memories from before the Mephisto deal, because right before Pete made the deal, I mean, Fisk is the one who had Aunt May shot. That's why she was dying.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter finds out it was him, breaks into jail because Fisk ordered this hit from jail, and Peter beats the crap out of him and tells him, he's like, if my aunt dies, I'm coming for you. You're gonna die.
Yeah, you would. Well, I don't know. Although maybe he doesn't remember. He puts hits on lots of people.
Well, again, and then the Mephisto deal went down, so who knows if he remembers anything.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Well, he probably remembers Peter Parker, or he remembers that Spider, because everyone knows Spider-Man revealed his identity, but no one seems to remember it. Mm-hmm. It's crazy Mandela stuff, man.
Yeah, maybe he remembers Spider-Man beating him within an inch of his life, but not why.
I remember, or maybe he remembers that. Yeah, I remember. We knew who Spider-Man was. I think I had a loved one of his killed. There's so many loved ones I have killed. It is so hard to keep track. You have no idea. So yeah, but you gotta realize
that's that meme that floats around from Batman Beyond, Derek Powers. When Terry McGinnis finally confronts him, he's like, "You had my father killed," and he's like, "You soda, you don't know how that so does not narrow it down." I've had lots of people's family killed.
Yes, exactly. Oh goodness, but and then we also have the second issue of King in Black this week.
Yes,
and so I guess Dylan is got super symbiote destroy powers.
Yeah, you know what? I finally went back and got Marvel Unlimited again. I've been trying to catch up on Venom. I'm I don't know, by issue 14 or 15, but yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I'll let you know if I get to that point, but I guess he can. I don't know if he can control symbiotes or something. Yeah, something.
Was he conceived when Brock was venomized?
Maybe.
Is that why he has these powers? Because
maybe, and I think in one of those miniseries in the 90s, he might have venomized his ex-wife. So, because she's the mother, so I don't know if both his parents were venomized when he was conceived. Maybe.
Oh, maybe it's he was venomized when conceived, and then when she's pregnant and doesn't know yet. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he was Venom because there was a scene in one of the ones I read where she drops Dylan off with Eddie Brock's father, and she's like, yeah, he's crazy. You need to take this child, and don't let Eddie know he's a lot. That he exists and stuff. And
yeah, well, to be fair, Eddie Brock is really unstable.
Oh yeah.
As Black Cat has pointed out, it's he's no hero. You're thinking of that other Venom that was a hero. This guy is, at best, passably insane.
Well, yeah, because at one point Eddie comes back to see his father, and then he sees this kid, and supposedly, the symbiote's been messing with his memory. He's like, "Oh wait, do I have a brother I never knew I had?" Because the dad told him, "Yeah, this is your brother" and stuff. But then he sees, Eddie Brock sees his dad beating this kid, and then he finds out it's his son. So yeah, he's not happy.
I can imagine. So yeah, it's an interesting book. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Sue called Namor, which is also fun. So I guess did something interesting happen in the Namor King in Black tie-in?
I didn't read that one, so I'm not sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I thought maybe Lilith did because I know she likes Namor. Yeah. I'll have to ask her because I don't remember her saying because I thought it was oh yeah, the Venom symbiotes had a hard time fighting them, because they're underwater, and it turns out salt water is actually bad for them, but they did not address that at all. But they also have
just all the arguing, why do we need Namor was just for dramatic effect. Every other book, it's we need all hands on deck.
Yeah, not Namor though, because it's not and for what it's worth, it's not like we're calling Doctor Doom. I don't think, or was he in the first issue? Did they actually have something going on with Doctor Doom?
I'm trying to remember.
He's the worst.
Well, this week coming up, this Wednesday, I think there's going to be an Iron Man Doctor Doom King in Black special. So
okay, yeah, well, we'll see where it goes. Like I said, I am so over anyone trying to give me anything positive about Doctor Doom after he killed a universe, Phil.
I know.
A whole universe gone. That ain't coming back.
Charlie Esser, they're desperate. They called Krakoa. They're desperate.
Yeah, the mutants.
Yeah, they're desperate.
Yeah. I just at a certain point, and especially because for what it's worth, okay, it's an invasion force, but it's not like it's a planet-wide invasion force. It's clearly a force that's trying to take Manhattan. They'll take Manhattan. And that's fine. That's nice, and it's practical on some level, but obviously it's like, obviously the King in Black does not have enough symbiotes to take the whole planet. I don't think. I don't feel. Although we did see in the Union that he did have dragons attacking in the UK, but we haven't seen outside of Manhattan yet. So we don't, and that's where Dylan is. That's who he wants, because he actually wants Dylan. Which, and again, if he survived that long in the bunker, why not just leave him in the bunker? Why do we have to take him out of the bunker?
Exactly. I guess they're like, oh, Eddie's dying. Maybe he wants to see him before he dies.
Yeah, I guess so. But also, also he has super anti symbiote powers. So, what's that going to do to the King in Black? He's going to show up. He's like, oh no, bad Venom. Go to the cornfield, and you ought to be very nice to me. King Size Conan. Did you? I doubt you did, because I only barely read it, but I only recently read it. Really good though. Just it gives you a great sense of who Conan is as a character, including just the idea that he is not a nice person in general. The first one they give, we open it up. It's actually like the first Marvel comic book with it's like the first half of the story, or the first like eighth of the story, because they said you can read more about this in the original Marvel premiere. Yes, the remainder of this tale of the coming of Conan. See, repeating from the first issue of Marvel's Conan the Barbarian, originally published precisely half a century ago. Mm-hmm. So there's Warren Pax, Maestro Warren Pax. We're getting that, and this is interesting because it opens up with like this guy, and he's talking about the demons beyond, and you almost get the feeling that, oh, he's conjuring them, and it's like, no, it's just a lecture, and Conan's just falling asleep in the lecture because he had apparently just fought a demon, and he's like, I guess I should find out what demons are. I don't want to fight them. They're stupid to fight. Why would anyone want to fight a demon? Why would you summon a demon? That just seems like a bad idea. And this big guy says, hey, you stole my money. And of course, Conan did steal his money. He says, but someone was going to steal it anyway. That guy was really drunk last night, so I figured I would steal it. And these two apprentice sorcerers want to hire him because they're going to conjure a demon. He's like, I don't want to be there when you conjure a demon. I don't care if I can kill a demon. I don't want to engage in them. And then, of course, later he comes by to where they told him to meet, where they told him they were going to conjure the demon. And he goes, yeah. He says, and they said, no, you came too late. He says, no, I came right on time. I knew the demon would come and kill you all, and now I'm going to steal your money. And he steals their money and goes off to go drinking. And that's why we love Conan. He's just ridiculous. This is actually a really good story. The next one, called Die by the Sword, I believe they call it. And it's basically, he's been hired to basically work with a king who's conquering lands, and he's murdering people, as you do, and he sees that, wow, this caravan we're killing, all of these people are really great warriors. Reminds me of my Sumerian brothers. Even the women are great fighters. And then he fights this one woman who is really good. It's like, wow, man, you are really good at killing people, and you probably would have killed me, except I got lucky and I killed you. Then he sees this woman's daughter about to be murdered by one of his fellows, and he basically the fellow gets murdered instead, as you can imagine, and she's trying to protect her mom's body, and Conan's just like, kid, you guys lost, just give up, just go off. I'm not gonna, I got no ill will to you. You'll probably die in the next few minutes anyway, but I'm not going to spend my time killing you when you're obviously wounded, your people have been thwarted, and yada, yada, yada. And the woman's like, but I have to avenge my mother's death, yada, yada, yada. And then, like, as she's dying, and he's just sort of comforting her in his classic Cromwellian way of like, yeah, gods are awful. Why do people bother praying to those things? They never help. And she's like, telling him, well, when we're in the, other world, and you come to our world, you can, my mother and I will drink with you. And he says, that sounds nice. So it actually ends very pleasantly. And then Requiem, pretty good story where and these are all like young Conan the Barbarian. He is attacked on by thieves. He gets found and nursed back to health by a kindly village who, we are just, simple folks. We share and share alike, and, you were in need and we helped you. And he says, well, great. Well, if I can repay you, I will. And it says, well, we don't really use gold here because obviously we don't need it because we are, a self-sufficient tribe. And he says, well, I'll go bring them back a stag. Give them some nice meat so they can have a good dinner. Then, of course, the thieves that had set up on him in the first scene have totally ransacked the village. And they even complain, the thieves are complaining, yeah, it's, you have these small, poorly defended villages, but goodness, there's never anything we're stealing in a small, poorly defended village. So why do we keep on doing this? And then basically Conan kills them all because he pays those who saved him back with his vengeance. Then the final one is a great little Belit story where they basically come across the Flying Dutchman, which is ruled by some weird tree god who basically actually just wants Conan to kill him because he's just tired of living, and he gives Conan the gift of future sight because the ghost ship sails across time as well as the sea. And Conan basically, he gets out, they get their treasure, but he is also haunted because he knows that one day Belit will die, and that will be sad. But that is the life they chose. And that is Conan the King Size Conan, number 1. If you like Conan, you might like that too. Anything else you want to talk about tonight, Phil? Any other books?
No, I think that's it.
That's it. Okay. Well then, Philip, how could people reach out to you if they would like to talk to you about things?
If you want to get a hold of me or anyone else, you can always email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And you can find links to our YouTube channel, various social media, Patreon, merchandise. Everything is at Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics.
And then, of course, you can always listen to us on high-quality headphones for once by going to tweakedaudio.com, utilizing the coupon code Southgate to get a great discount. That coupon code Southgate is also usable at huntakiller.com if you'd like to get an escape room delivered to your house, which is kind of cool and creepy. And, of course, you can always go down to our show notes, click on the link to Amazon, go there, buy whatever you want. Costs you nothing, helps us all out. While there, check out Pod Life, the book written by the Southgate Media Group crew. A sequel is coming soon, maybe even an audiobook. Who knows? It's available in paperback or digital, and it will tell you about why people podcast. And then, once you've done that, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way, you can do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on the Twitters. I live tweet the last season of. I always do the last season of things. DuckTales. Woohoo! I haven't been missing it lately. It just hasn't been had new episodes recently. At 7 o'clock on Mondays. That's Eastern Time. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle. For what?
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us for Superconnectivity. I hope you learned something. I hope you connected with us. Please super connect with us again next week. Good night.
Good night.
Hope you didn't run too long, Phil.
Nah, we're fine. Have to get all the current stuff out.
Yeah, man. Lots going on, man. A lot of books. Yeah. I actually just realized I don't think I read U.S. Agent. It's weird. I'm like, wait a minute. I think I read half of it, and then I must have put it down, and then.
Let me tell you about a book I'm going to read, kids.
That's the secret end credit scene.